Hi, this is Jackie's Reading Room, and I'm your host, Jackie P. Have you turned some pages today? As I am recording this, a beautiful spring day is coming to an end. I spent time outside, and the sun felt awesome on my skin after a winter that felt like it would never end. I'm sure if you live in some parts of North America or perhaps even Europe, you know what I mean. And for me, when spring comes, it's always meant that I start imagining summer and all the traveling I'd like to do. And I always say that my dream account is totally not proportionate to my bank account. So, same thing with my dream travel account. So I've always loved to discover new countries and cultures. I believe I might have mentioned that before. And as an avid reader, you won't be surprised to hear that I usually read all about the places I'm interested in. And this brings me to today's debate. When getting ready to travel, what do you prefer? Getting your hands on the latest travel guide or turning on your laptop to do some research online? And when you travel, do you prefer to have your little book with you, your paper map, or you just turn on your phone and look it up online? Well, let me tell you a little story. So recently, my mom, who's in her late 70s, told me that she's considering going to Portugal in the fall, and she mentioned that my step dad bought her a map of the country, an actual paper map, right? So that she can look at the country as a whole and she can start planning the itinerary. That's super exciting to me. I could actually picture it. Knowing her, I'm sure she likely also has one or two travel guides to go along with that. To read about the different places that they might want to visit. I have to admit that I love doing this too. But what did the statistics say? And I was wondering if this was almost like a generation thing, right? Because maybe some people today, they don't even think about going to the travel guide. So I found this site, and of course, I'll be putting the link to the two articles I found. One link is from Statista.com about the sales of travel guidebooks in the US from 2006 to 2017. I thought it was interesting to compare. Now, just in the US, travel guidebook sales went totally down. So in 2006, there were 226 million US dollars spent on guidebooks. And then when you get to 2017, you get to 124 million dollars US. So that's pretty almost like half, uh, you know, less. So it's safe to say that there's a big difference there. I also found another article that I thought was super interesting from the Washington Post on March 4th, 2022. And the article is entitled Travel Guidebooks Aren't Dead, but They'll Never Be the Same. Maybe that's a good thing. And it's a very interesting text because it talks about travel guides post pandemic, right? And there was a time, as you may remember, where we could not travel a whole lot. And when we could, it was difficult and stressful. The article was written by Jen Rose Smith, and it mentions some very interesting facts. So, for example, um, the there was a time when many guidebooks were put on pause. So, at a time when traveling was very difficult in the last few years, it was also difficult for the market of the guidebook. In 2013, so if we go back to pre-pandemic, BBC Worldwide sold Lonely Planet, and that was one of the things that happened in the world of traveling books. And one of the quotes from the text goes like this: I miss swapping annotated dog-eared books with fellow travelers in bars and hostels. And she was saying that now, with the screens, you have that same scene, like in a bar, in a hostel, but everybody's on a screen checking their phones. So perhaps even that prevents people from um, interacting with each other. And the article does also mention that because now, obviously, when you're going to travel, you can find just about anything you want on the place that you want to go to, right, online. But there's almost too much information. So the guidebook is kind of a way to give you some basic information, whether you're looking for, the best spots to visit or perhaps a hotel, and then you can combine it. And one of the things that was mentioned was that the guidebook now is more, it's a companion. It's one of the tools that you can use when you're going to travel. Personally, I mentioned it, so I do have a few travel guides in my bookshelves that I keep. So I'll give you a couple of examples of the ones that I enjoy. So and I enjoy them for different reasons. Many of them have maps, sometimes maps even of the public transportation, right? So perhaps the subway, the buses, the main attractions to see. And if I were able to show you a picture of the guidebooks I have in front of me, they all have glossy colored pictures in them. So for me, don't give me a black and white or just text type of guidebook. I want to see. Of course, I can go online and see that as well, but I like to have it, in my hand. And I like to turn the pages, obviously, as you are well aware. So one of the guides and I have a few copies of this for different cities. It's called the DK Eyewitness Top 10 Travel Guides, right? It's got a rectangular shape. So the one I have in my hand now is Top 10 Chicago, and it's a couple of years old, but first of all, there are some really nice places, nice photos in there. And if I go back to it, I see that I circled some things. I dog-eared some of the pages to remember, some things. I wrote down the names of 2 or 3 bookstores right inside, and even if in the flip, the front cover, there's some maps, and you can sort of verify where things are. And basically, every page is divided into like top 10. So, for example, here, if I go here, top 10 of the University of Chicago. So let's say you're going there and you want to decide, okay, well, maybe I want to go see the Oriental Institute. Maybe I want to go to the, I want to check if they have, Robbie House, right? By Frank Lloyd Wright, the architect. It's right by the campus. So it helps you to kind of focus on the top 10 of different aspects of a city. And they have them in for many different cities. So I encourage you to check it out. I even see in the back, there's a map of the CTA, the Chicago train system, another map with the lake. Makes me want to go back. And other guidebooks that I like are the Lonely Planet guidebooks. I believe I mentioned those. And the most recent I got was for my, well, I guess a few months back, I went to the beautiful city of Reykjavik in Iceland, and I loved every minute. And I have a little pocket Reykjavik in Southwest Iceland Lonely Planet guide, and same thing. I wrote my name in it with the year I went, and you have a map, some really kind of concise information on different things like tours, like like the city itself, the old town, walking tour. For example, they talk about that famous church, Hallgrímskirkja, which is actually so beautiful. And I even have a little map. I just forgot. I just saw it now. And I use that little map as well. And I had another little paper map. I really do enjoy the paper map. You can fold it. You can circle, say, put a little star where your hotel or your Airbnb is. there's nothing quite like it. And the other one I have is the Lonely Planet Discover California. It's a it's got a green, uh, like the bottom is green with some, the big California in white. And same thing, you have different states or cities or countries for this category. And the photos are beautiful in this guide. And I put little post-its for when I went. That was a few years back. And then you have like tips on, detours that you can take if you like beach towns. And then they give you a couple of ideas there. A detour by Berkeley. Oh, that sounds like fun. I see a photo here of a beautiful beach. And it's that you have some local knowledge here from somebody from the area. Very nicely done. I really enjoy the Lonely Planet, and I believe there's even a companion online, right? Yeah, they even give you at the back. There's like the website, right? lonelyplanet.com. Lots of things to find out. So, do I believe in the print guidebook? Absolutely. A bit like I believe in the paper dictionary, but that's for another story. And in the article that I mentioned earlier, they talked about the fact that the print guidebook is a chance to unplug, right? Because you have to turn the pages. And I'm always trying to find ways to get the kids away from the electronics, but also to um, unplug myself, right? Because we all spend a lot of time in front of computers. They are useful, or other devices. So as soon as I can turn some pages, well, I guess it makes my life so much richer, and I hope it does the same for you. If you enjoyed, please share, and until next time, take care.